Okay, so you're going to take time to look at the graphs and to look at all of the computer printout. Alright, so the Model 1 is here. Look at your labels. Labels are super important. So on this first graph, you're comparing year to price. So no re-expression has been done. And notice they've cut the years down to 2-digit years. You have to pay attention to that, because if you're going to do a prediction, then when you substitute a number in for x into your equation, it has to not have the 19 in front of it. So if you're going to do asking price for a 1988 automobile, 88 is going to be your x value, not 1988. So they've already made a little bit of an adjustment there, because it's just easier to take a look at, and it makes the numbers a little less cumbersome. So you have to look at labels, you have to look at scale. If not, you're going to be kind of out in the blue somewhere. And then, look how beautiful this is. The regression equation is right there. There's your y hat equation. Y hat equals negative 5 point, I'm going to pull my glasses off because I can't see it. Negative 58.1 plus 0.719 times year. Oh, okay. And then they have this computer printout under it that shows the constant and the slope. You know, right there's that computer printout we're used to using, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we don't know anything about just yet, or we'll learn in chapter 26. And then over here at the side, what is this graph? It's your residual plot. Right there it says resid. These are your fitted values down here, and all you really care about is you see that resid, so you know it's a residual plot. What do you see? There's a bend in it. There's a curve. Curved distribution, bend in the graph. What do you know about this model? It's not a good model. It's not appropriate. It's useless. Okay? And then we have all this analysis down here that we don't really care about. We're looking at pictures and just checking things out so far. All right, so let's flip it over and look at the second model. It said it did 3, so we have to look at all 3 of them. It's the time-consuming part of this problem is reading and looking at all the pictures, because the actual written work is quick. It's short and sweet. All of your effort is in reading and seeing what you're dealing with. Okay, so on the second one, we have year, again, 2-digit years, and ln of price, so they took the natural logarithm. And look right here, the regression equation is, they gave us the equation. Notice they put the ln in front of the price. There's technically a hat there, but the computer programs, like the graphing calculators, never actually put the hat on it, but you have to know it's there. And what do you think about this graph? I'm thinking it still looks like maybe there's a little curve right there, there's a bend right there. But if I'm not sure, I can always look at the residual plot. What do I see in the residual plot? Comes down, goes back up. There's definitely a change in direction there. There's a bend that happens for sure right here in the graph. That's still not a good model. So even taking the natural logarithm, it's still not a good model. All right, model 3. Take a look at that one. This one is, now did it say back in the paragraph that they took the square root? Yes. Okay, so this is square root of price and the year again. And we have a new regression equation right here. I'm going to just find it because I'm probably going to have to use it, so I might as well just nail it down. Okay, so I don't even remember if I asked you. What do you see? There's still a curve. There's another curve, right? And if we're not sure in this residual plot, and so as you start examining, the first one takes you a minute to kind of weed through, and the second and third one, because they look just like the first one, the way it's structured, you can really start kind of building momentum and look at those pretty quickly. And at the end of the line, what we've discovered is we have 3 bad models. None of them are appropriate because they all left a curve behind. Okay, so it took me 2 full pages, and I've not written anything yet. But most of the work is actually done because I've kind of looked at it all. So now I'm going to flip over, and I'm actually going to answer some questions. Question number 1. Use Model 1 to establish an asking price for your 1988 automobile. Piece of cake. It's a plug and chug. So now I've got to flip back real quick like, and I go to the very first model, and I'm going to write down price hat equals negative 58.1 plus 0.719 times the year. And I'm going to be really, really super careful that that's an 88. because I want an E on this problem, not a P. So I want to make sure that everything is written down. And the rest is calculator work, right? You got a calculator, use it. I will just let you calculate that, and you can tell me what you get. We'll change to a darker pen, it might help a little bit. $5.172. Now, is that dollars?
Thousands of dollars.
That's in thousands of dollars. So let's put it in context. So this is $5,172. Make sure your answer is in context. So you need to scale it up and put your units on it. Okay, how long did that take? Less than a minute, right? Okay, the bulk of the work was just reading through all the information. So don't be scared of reading through the information. They're giving you time for that. Model 2 for the asking price. Let's go back and get Model 2. It was natural log of price hat. And make sure you put your hat on it, okay? Equals, and I got some different numbers here, negative 14.9 plus 0.185 times year. Oh, that's an 88, right? Go ahead and put an 88 in there. Okay. By the way, you don't have time to erase stuff on the AP exam unless it's just like one little mistake. If you have like a whole swath of wrong stuff and you realize you've done something wrong and you have like 5 lines of work to put an X to it, start over. They give you plenty of room. If you put an X to anything, they will not score it. It'll save you time. Do not erase. You ain't got time for that. Okay, and so I got to solve that, right? Do you want to do it by hand or do you want the calculator just to solve it? Alright, just use your solver then. So I'm going to let you type in solve or go find your solve command. Put all this package in parentheses with a comma Y after that 88. And then you can tell me when you're finished what the process. 3.975. Anybody want to agree with that? Did you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, did you? Okay, ask me a question. Okay, look at your graph. Okay, look at your graph back here. See how the x-axis is labeled?
Oh, yeah.
And it's that way on all 3 of them. And so that's why it's so super important that you look at your scales and your labels. Now, worst case scenario, you missed that and you show all your work. If you show your work and that's the only mistake you made, you're at least going to get a partial. Okay? Which is why it's also really important to show your work. Because if you don't show your work and you write down the wrong answer, you get nothing. Okay, and so this is $3,975. Okay, and the last one was the square root. Now you can either do SQR if you want to. I'm going to do square root with a symbol because I think that's faster. But you can make it look any way you want to. A price hat equals, let's go get that number, negative 13.3 plus 0.176 times the year is 88. And so you're going to take the square of both sides, right? Okay, so I think the easiest thing to do here is type that entire right side in parentheses and then square it, or calculate the right side and then hit your square button. And I think that's faster than a solver on this one. But you can use a solver if you want to. I'll let you figure that out.
4.787.
Anybody agree with that?
That's right.
Okay, so $4,787 in context. Okay, so perfect. So far, we've accumulated most of our points. Is this difficult? Mathematically, this is not hard. The skill set is learning how to read the data and the analysis that has been given to you. And we're working on building that skill set. All right, number 4, or number D. Remember that the number 6 is always longer. That's why they allow 25 minutes for it. So there's usually more than just 2 or 3 parts. And you got to do them all. Even if you're not sure that you know what you're doing, you're going to do something for all of them because they're worth a lot of points. Describe any shortcomings you see in these 3 models. What's wrong? They all have curves. So every model has a curve in the scatter plot. You know what? Sorry, it's not actually a model. Every scatter plot, because the models are straight. I got to be real careful there. I just goofed that up. So you know what I can do? I can scribble it out, and it's okay. They do not care so much about neatness. If they can read it, it'll be okay. Every scatter plot has a curve. All right. So I made that messy, and I might say, and each residual plot, bless you, shows a bend. None of the three models is appropriate. Nope, because the models are the lines. So I fit 3 different lines to 3 different sets of data, 3 different scatter plots, and none of those lines were right because none of the data was straight. So the scatter plots had curves, the residual plots had bends, so the models, those are the lines themselves that I fitted to those scatter plots, they weren't appropriate. Okay? Alright, sometimes you get started writing and you realize, oh, I said something wrong. There's nothing wrong with this, except that some of you, it drives you crazy because you're like neat freaks. On AP exam day, when the clock is ticking, you just have to you gotta get over it. Just scribble it out and move on. That's all you got time for. Alright, last but not least, almost done, and collectively, we still got this done in less than 25 minutes. Use some or all of the given data to find a better method of establishing an asking price for your 1988 automobile. Explain why your method is better. So, if I can't straighten it, or wasn't able to straighten it with a multiple options, if I go back to this original picture, this is your original graph. 1988 is here. What might be useful?
84 on.
Take 1984 on, or even, actually there's a little bend right there. I might even be tempted to start either with this one or this one. So you could use a subset, either with that one or that one. I would probably leave 1984 alone. At the very most, I might take the 1985, or I might start at the 1986. So somewhere in that neighborhood, and that's a choice, but you take a section that's straight. And you put those data in, and it says, does it actually say to make a model? Yeah. Use all or some of the data to find a better method for establishing an asking price for your automobile. Explain why it's better. It says find a better method. So, use the data for years 1980 and 5 or 6, whichever one. I'm going to say 1986 to, how far up does it go? 1992, 3 was the last one, to 1993 only. Fit a line to the scatter plot for those years. And predict the price with that model. Okay? So, find a better method. That's my method. Explain why your method is better. The data from 1986 to 1993 is reasonably linear. That's why it's better. So I answered both parts. I found a better method and explained it. And I explained why it was better. Short and sweet. Say it and shut up. And then go back to whatever you haven't had time to finish. Because number 6 is that one that you're going to skip to at the 25-minute mark if you haven't already gotten to it. And then you go back and work on some other stuff that you may not have finished yet. Was that so bad? Was there anything on there that we haven't dealt with multiple times? You know the stuff. When AP exam day comes, you know the stuff. You just have to make sure you know how to read the question and pin together the pieces. Okay, take a stretch break. Oh, pause.